G'day! Welcome back to Derriere Farms with me, Farmer Jay, and today we're going to be doing the follow-up video I promised, where we look at the best mods for beginners. Now, if you watched my top 10 tips video for starting a new farm, you'll remember in that I mentioned not to get into mods until you're a little bit more comfortable, because there are so many mods out there that do so many different things, and unfortunately the authors of these mods do not always put exactly what the mods do in the mod descriptions. The example I used was the bakery mod I downloaded and the chocolate muesli, I'm pronouncing that wrong I know, factory mod. The bakery mod requires water to make bread. Doesn't increase the production, it just requires you supply water. Well, I don't want to be hauling water all over the place to be able to make bread when I can do it at the regular bakery without it. So I deleted that mod. The chocolate muesli factory, lost in translation. I thought chocolate muesli was a new product. Turns out it's chocolate cereal, and all it was the cereal factory with the required input now of chocolate. So you need chocolate to make cereal. The value of the cereal isn't anything better than selling it from the regular cereal factory, except now you are taking your valuable chocolate from the dairy and you are putting it into a cereal factory, essentially losing money. So that is why I avoid or recommend you avoid mods until you are well established in the game and know exactly what's going on and what to test out. So, as I said, this is why I came up with this list of best mods for beginners. It's in no particular order. It was going to be a top 10, but it kind of morphed itself into more of a 12 or 14 mods. As I realized, I can't forget that one, or I can't forget this one. As we go through the list, I will mention which mods are PC only or PC Mac only, and which one are cross-platform or crossplay compatible for console players. As there are some very good and very valuable mods out there that work on the console as well as the PC. The first one being, and this has quickly become my favorite mod, is the Toolbox. Basically what this is a mobile workshop. You can put it in the back of a pickup truck, you can put it in the back of your Gator or Mahindra, back of any vehicle that has storage capability. Drive it around your farm, take it to where you want to. Now you have to make sure the handles are pointing towards the vehicle you want to repair, and you just press R to open up the menu, and as you can see, it's going to cost us $279 to repair the man. Once you're done, just take it and throw it in the back of your Mahindra or put it somewhere where you want. It's a lot better than having to drive by or back to the farm all the time to use your garage if you place that there, or the dealership. So that's a Toolbox. Highly recommended. Alright, next up we have the multi-fruit buying station. This is a very useful mod. It is again PC and console compatible, and it sells you pretty much anything you want in the game in bulk and at a discount. so you don't always have to drive back to the store. See, I was able to fill up with lime, no problem. I could have had an empty fertilizer spreader and filled up with fertilizer. It will sell you everything from fertilizer, lime. It'll even sell you oats, wheat, barley, corn, canola, maize, pretty much all the crops. It'll sell you milk, water, liquid fertilizer, herbicide, and diesel. I don't really consider it a cheat because it's only got a 20% discount on it, which I think is something that's lacking in the game. When you purchase products in bulk, see, you are paying $64 for 6 bags of seeds. You are paying $6,400. You're not getting a discount for purchasing in bulk. So, multi-fruit buying station, very convenient. Gives you what I consider a reasonable discount. And is very, very handy. And I'll show you why else it's handy in a minute. Next up, we have the Meridian water tank. It holds, I believe, 250,000 liters of water. You can either use the tool icon here to buy 250,000 liters of water at almost $30,000. Again, you're paying the same as if you would get water from any other source, such as the fire hydrant or the water tank that comes with the base game. I highly don't recommend that, especially as there are so many sources of free water. Even if you've got a small farm and you don't require a lot of water yet, because you only have, let's say, 2 or 3 greenhouses and maybe 1 animal pen that requires water, well, you've got that lake on this map to get free water from, and on the other maps there are plenty of other places to get free water from. So I did the math. For under $10,000, you can lease temporarily for an hour this truck and a water tanker and drive back and forth, and you can fill this water tank with free water. And then all you have to worry about is your small water tank that you use to take water from the Meridian tank to your greenhouses. So, very convenient, saves a lot of time back and forth. Yes, you have that initial investment of time to fill it up, but it's definitely worth it. Like I said, these mods are in no particular order. So keep watching. Some of the best ones are towards the end of the video. The next mod that I recommend you getting, unfortunately this one is PC only because it's a script mod, is this tractor is actually pretty clean, but it's called the Insta Wash Mod, and once it's installed, all you have to do is press the insert key and it will wash both the tractor and the vehicle attached to it, or the truck and the trailer that's attached to it. Very handy, especially as dirt factors into wear, which affects your vehicle maintenance. So there is an incentive, not that anybody really knows this, to keep your vehicles clean, as well as do regular maintenance. The next mod, speaking of tractors, is, and you can't really see it during the daylight, and you can't see it without a comparison, but it is the increased light range mod. And basically, I don't know if you can, well, it gives a much further and brighter light to your tractor, which is great when you're doing field work at nighttime. If you haven't noticed in the game, because you haven't done field work yet at nighttime, the default setting is kind of dark and you can't always make out where you're working. That, again, because it's a script mod, is PC and Mac only. We might as well go through this list quickly. As you know, I always recommend you do contracts. And these are the contracts we have available right now. If I use the Refresh Contracts mod, it brings up a Refresh Contracts button at the bottom of this. And I already refreshed the contract just to make sure it was working. But it will bring up, yeah, see, it's not bringing up any new ones because I already did it. The list initially only had 2 on it. 2 or 3 contracts. When I hit refresh, it gave me all these extra fertilizing and cultivating contracts. So, excellent if you want to keep up on contracts. Speaking of contracts, the next one is, and you can't see it because it's installed in the background, but it is the Collect Straw at Missions mod, which is, again, sadly only available for PC because it uses a script. But what it enables you to do is collect straw at missions where you have to harvest either oats, wheat, or barley. You either bale or collect it with a loading wagon, exactly the same way as you do on your own farm. Just make sure that you have everything baled or picked up in a loading wagon before completing the contract, because then the field defaults to the harvested state. Next up, we have, also very, very useful, the Lumberjack mod. It does 2 things. You can press the Alt key twice, and it enables super strength, which allows you to pick up items that you normally wouldn't be able to pick up. See, without super strength, I can't do it. And the reason it's also called the Lumberjack mod is because with the chainsaw, it allows you to, I'm just trying to find somewhere where it will be obvious. There it is, this tree here. So you go to the tree, you press the Alt key, icon turns red, and it very neatly deletes the tree. It's very handy for these types of trees, not so much the pine trees, which are easily harvestable, but if you're not aware, cutting some of these trees down the old-fashioned way by using the chainsaw like that, there is a known bug in the game which causes these trees to deform, and you can't do anything with them after that. So the Lumberjack mod allows you to get rid of unwanted trees. No muss, no fuss, no in-game bug. Alright, like I said, these are in no particular order. Let's do some crossplay mods again. The first one that we're going to take a look at is the Lizard Silage additive. It is found, I believe, under pallets. Yep. So you get 50 liters of silage additive for $500. as opposed to 60 liters for $2,990. And it works just the same way. The other nice thing is, unlike the pallets, this is pick-upable without super strength. So you can just drop it in the back of your vehicle and take it out to the field where you're doing the harvest. Alright. Next up, and this, I'd say this is essential more for, well, it's a useful tool for both PC and consoles. More so for consoles because you don't have the field create a cultivator mod. This is the Lizard Subsoiler 6M/9MT, I believe is what it's called. It's found in the store under plows, even though they call it a subsoiler. Yeah, 6MT/9MT. And it works just like a square plow does. It allows you to create fields. This is why it's very useful for console players. And because it's square, it allows you to create nice straight edges. The problem with the rest of the plows, as you can see, is they are all angled. And that means you have a starting point here and an ending point here. So you end up with a semi-triangular line down the side. You don't end up with nice square fields. I have a little bit of OCD, so I want my fields to be square. Plus, AI workers work better when the fields are square. Now, I don't have any bees on this farm, but if I did, this is the default pallet location that comes with the game from Giants. It is currently bugged. It will spawn one pallet, and after that, you're lucky if it'll spawn another one. So you have two options that are both PC and Mac and console compatible. You have the Beehive Honey Pallet Location Warehouse. Honey, if you search, I'll link it in the description. But basically, you can place it on your farm, and the honey gets spawned into the warehouse. You then just go to the trigger and tell it how many pallets you would like it to spawn, and it spawns, let's say, 5 pallets into the spawn point. You pick those up and you take them away. If you want a slightly more traditional, this is the what's this one called? More honey pallet options is the mod, and it gives you a couple of different size spawn points. Anything from 4x4, where it'll spawn 4 in a square, all the way up to 12. Six by 2 or 12 by 1. So the largest one will spawn 12 line by line. This one, slightly smaller, takes up less space. You will get 6 on the bottom and 6 on top for a total of 12. I have noticed on my farm, my Let's Play farm, since I have switched that, my honey pallet has, honey production has gone to what I expected it to be. I had, in order to try and get as much honey as the cereal factory needed, I was using the default Giants one and wondering why it was only spawning 1 or 2 pallets a day when I had kept adding, I think I was up to 12 beehives, and we're talking the large beehives, and I was still only getting 2 pallets a day. So I put in the large one, and yeah, I'm getting a good amount of honey now. So that's definitely a must if you are into honey production, and honey is a good way of making money. It's a good introduction to animals and their production system, so I highly recommend that. While I am looking at the workshop, it reminded me that I should probably talk about it, and this is new, and again, this is why I kind of rejiggled the list a little bit. It is the Repair and Repaint Settings mod. You install it, then you go to your game settings, and all the way at the bottom, you'll find maintenance cost and painting costs options. By default, the game is 100%. I put maintenance cost to either 50 or 75%, but you can go as low as 25%. I find this very handy. Maintenance interval, you can either speed up or slow down how quickly your vehicles get damaged. Paint cost, this one is the one I find, well, maintenance by itself is expensive. I don't know if Giants is going to address this in the patch or not, or if they're going to say it's working as intended, but I don't know any farmer that spends $10,000 repairing a tractor after a couple of hours use, or even a couple of months. I mean, realistically, you're looking at an oil change, some filter changes, on a regular basis. And then maybe on older vehicles, when something goes wrong, yes, you're going to be looking at a $10,000 repair cost, but that's rare. Paint cost is outrageous. I would not spend $20,000, $30,000, or $40,000 to repaint a implement, let alone a vehicle. So you could set that one all the way down to 25%. You definitely don't want it at 150%. And again, the paint interval, you can slow down how quickly the vehicle starts to show wear. That's a must-have. Sadly, because it is a script, it is a PC-only mod. And I think most of the other mods I have left are PC-only mods. Next up, we have Paint and Terraform Anywhere. This will allow you to either paint the terrain or terraform the ground, even on land you don't own. Very handy, depending on what you're doing. It also lets you place buildings on land you don't own. Not that I would want to place a couple of silos like that in the middle of an arable field where land is at a premium. But overall, very handy. As you can see, it lets you use, I can use the flatten tool, the smooth tool, and I can even repaint. I don't know why I'm having trouble with English today. I can even put the grass back in that I took out by leveling the ground, all on land I don't own. Like I said, very, very handy. There's a lot you can do with it. Download it, install it. It's great. And last but not least, we have the Store Deliveries mod, which again I'm afraid is PC only or Mac only. Once installed, Alt Shift shows you where the location will be. If you press S, that now becomes your store purchase point. So if I buy there we go. You pay a 3% delivery fee, but it's definitely worth it. So I purchased that water tanker. It shows up here as opposed to up at the store. So there are two reasons I wanted to show you this mod. First, I purchased a water trailer so I could go get water and show you how easy it is to fill the Meridian water tank. Now, even more useful, if you want to reset the location, you just do the opposite. You press Alt-Shift-R to reset it back to the default, which is everything that we purchased at the store. Or again, Alt-Shift-S to set the particular location you want. I'm going to turn that truck off for a second. I moved the store deliveries point to here, which is on the other side of the map. I really don't want to drive all the way across the map to complete a contract, using this as an example. So contracts, I have one for field 7, which is a baling contract. Yeah, let's go ahead and borrow the items. And there we are. All the equipment we need for the contract has been delivered to the location where we need it at. Then, when you're done with the contract, you simply return everything as you normally would. The only catch is you still have to drive the bales to wherever they need to go to be able to sell them to complete the contract. But I find it very handy because it's an easy way, especially if you're borrowing equipment, of getting it across the map. And finally, and it's more of an honorable mention, is the mod. I believe it's called Buy Production Inputs, and we only have one production chain here. But if you want to buy something to use this sparingly because it costs money, but let's say you are short on a certain product in a certain production chain, you can hit buy, and it will let you buy varying amounts of product to put into that production chain. So if we wanted to put in 132,000 liters of silage, we could. So anyway, those are what I would consider to be the best mods to get you started, up and running, and from there you can experiment with different mods. Like I said before, create a separate mod testing map. Cheat in some money if you have to. I don't like to cheat in money to my main games. That's why I have a separate testing map. And that way, if I have a mod that I purchase, I don't like, and I delete it, I'm not worried about losing money. Whereas on my main farm, I would be. So, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I missed anything. And we will then see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and take care.